Hello, everybody. It is from the Bleachers. Welcome in. It's Caden Formaster here and Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
Mark's a little late getting his headphones out of the closet over there.
Hey, I got everybody else's. I know we got a couple of guests coming in for our show today, and I got them all set up with their headphones, and then I go to sit down, start the show, and I'm like, oh, I need my headphones.
Yeah, I get that. You worry about other people before yourself, Mark. That's actually a good quality.
Well, thank you.
It's a good quality to have.
Yeah.
Well, welcome into the show today. Here we go, 4 o'clock hour, kicking things off.
Lots to talk about.
Dude, there is a lot to talk about. There's been a few major announcements today in the world of sports. We've had the Damian Lillard trade, first off. And I know everyone's kind of been talking about that today, so we'll talk about it as well.
Well, it's a big trade.
But it is a big trade, so we'll still talk about it. For Jazz fans, the new Jazz Plus has been announced today as well. We'll talk about what that means for us here in Southern Utah and some of the deals that you can take advantage of right now. So we'll talk about that a little bit. Of course, we're going to be talking some football. It is football season, but of course, it's time to talk some football.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, lots of that coming up.
We've
got a couple guests, as you mentioned.
Yeah, we got a couple of guests coming up here in the show. One of them is going to be Gary Nelson's going to be joining us. I call him bro, but he will be joining us. We will be talking Dixie Flyers. We'll be talking Dixie Cedar Rivalry, and a lot of great things happening because the class of 1973 is having their 50-year class reunion. How does that sound, bro Nelson? 50 years. Wow.
Where was I 50 years ago?
Where were you, Caden?
I'm 29, so
yeah,
I was
exactly.
I was nowhere.
Exactly. So yeah, we will we'll have fun to talking with him about that. And then we got Jason Baum coming up here in a little bit this hour, and we'll have our Baum Sports moment, and we'll see where that takes us. You never know with Jason.
You never know. What was it last year or last year? Last week. It was not last year. Last week it was a lot of football Super Bowl stuff, wasn't it? Super Bowl playoff.
Yes,
that kind of stuff.
It was football stuff. Yes.
Yeah. And I'm curious what it'll be this week.
Yeah.
You never know.
Maybe leading into baseball postseason. Maybe it'll be baseball. Maybe
baseball.
Saving that for next week when we actually do get into the MLB postseason. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. It's always fun stuff. Some good trivia that goes along with it. Maybe one of these days we'll bring some trivia in for him. See how good he does on the spot.
Yeah.
He always puts us on the spot. I want to see how good he is on the spot.
I know. Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, the answers are easy when you have the answers. The questions are easy when you have the answers,
The answers are easy when you have the answers.
Yeah.
That is very true. Lots of stuff we're getting into. By the way, coming up here shortly as well, we have the Shriners Children's Open coming up in Las Vegas.
And I think we have some tickets to give away.
I have some tickets in my hand right now.
Thanks to a big shout out to Fab Freddy's for that opportunity that we have some tickets. Let's go ahead, Caden. We'll do our text line.
Let's do it.
435-990-9950. Text in the word, we're going to make this so easy, PAR, P-A-R, PAR.
Yep.
Just text that word. We'll put you in a drawing, and we will announce the winner at the end of the show today.
Yep. And don't send, I know this is going to sound weird, just don't send any extra emojis and things like that. Send just the word PAR. If you send it correctly, you'll get an auto response. That's how you know you've done it right.
Oh, okay.
Just so you know. So send just the word PAR, P-A-R. Simple as that. And you'll get a response letting you know that you're entered to win.
And we will also, I think we can accept and put into the drawing if they put that in our YouTube chat as well. We can do that,
throw
right?
It in the YouTube chat.
We can do that as well.
By all means.
If you throw it PAR into our YouTube chat as well, we will enter you into the drawing for the Shriners tickets as well. Next weekend. I mean, it's fall break. There's nothing better to do. My goodness, go down, spend a day, maybe even 2, down in Las Vegas, and Yeah, that'd be a great time. Weather's supposed to be great. So
yeah, should be great. Should be fun. Nothing like Las Vegas in the fall. I'll tell you that. It feels
just
really
like
nice.
Here, just like here. I mean, this is why we live here. This is there's 2 times of the year. One of them is springtime. I mean, our spring is only like 30 days, maybe 45 days if we're lucky. But in that 45-day period, we'll be out golfing or you'll be outside hiking or walking, whatever the case might be. And you'll look over to the person next to you and you say, this is why we live here. And then there's another time, which is now, which is early fall. Again, we don't get it for a long time, maybe 30 to 45 days. And we always say, this is why we live here.
Yeah.
It's exactly why.
It's true. This time of year is awesome. I mean, even days like today where, it's 90 degrees, but 90 degrees here is awesome.
I had my windows down all day today while driving around town, arm hanging out, felt great. Didn't feel hot at all.
Yeah, I know. It feels so good this time of year. And he's honestly between 75 to 90, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's perfect for me. So we got a long time left of that kind of weather, too. It should be good for a while. Now, it will sneak up on us. It'll all of a sudden get cold towards the end of October.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll sneak up on you.
Yep.
But then you'll have that random day in November, in December, and January where it's back to golfing weather.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
you know
for
what
sure.
I mean?
Yeah.
You'll have a little stretch of a few days in there where it's 75 degrees, and you're sitting there thinking, man, this isn't winter. This isn't bad at all. What are we doing? And then it's back down to 40.
Right.
Again. Yeah.
Again, this is why we live here. Hey, got some Region 9 volleyball scores for you from last night.
Yeah, let's get to it.
And it went pretty much as expected. We'll go with Cedar and Dixie first. Again, going back to that big rivalry, the longest rivalry in Southern Utah for sure. And Cedar, they come up top 3 sets to none. I apologize. 3 sets to none. Cedar beats Dixie 14, 16, and 19. Now, just FYI, sometimes I forget that maybe some people don't know what I say, what that means when I say that. That means, so in volleyball, you have to have 25 to win.
Yes.
Okay? And so when I say that Cedar beats Dixie 14, 16, and 19, that means Cedar scored 25 points. Those are Dixie's scores.
Yes.
So anyway, I got to thinking one time, I'm like, I wonder if people know what I'm saying, if they're not really familiar with volleyball or something like that, if they know what I'm saying when I say those scores. So just kind of wanted to run that by everybody. Desert Hills and Crimson, again, another big rivalry. Desert Hills wins in 3 sets, 13, 20, and 15 for the Lady Thunder. And again, it was just one of those nights where the upper echelon was going up against the lower echelon of Region 9. And in Hurricane and Pineview, Hurricane wins in 3 sets, 15, 15, and 13. So 3 sets to none in all 3 matches. Kind of something that, isn't surprising because, again, we had the top 3, and they're really 3 really good teams.
Right.
They're all 3 of them are going to challenge for a state championship against the 3 bottom teams of the Region 9. So there's volleyball.
There you go, volleyball. Very well done. All right, let's go to soccer from last night. We had
all those kids just kicking around.
Just kicking around
They're
the ball.
Just kicking it around.
Kicking it around. We had a Cedar and Crimson. That one was at Crimson Cliffs, and the home team came in with the win there. It was a shutout, 3-0. Crimson with 1 in the first half and 2 in the second half. And across town, or should I say really more or less across the county,
it
was at Hurricane. Snow Canyon was at Hurricane, and they got the win as well in a shutout, 8-0. A big,
oh my goodness,
a big win for the Lady Warriors.
Dude, that's like if you were to put that to football, like the real football,
put 7 points to each of those points.
Yeah, exactly. That's a blowout.
That's a lot. That's
who? Wow, who are they playing again? I'm sorry,
Snow Canyon Hurricane.
And oh, geez,
yeah, tough loss, tough loss for Hurricane. And then we had Pineview and Dixie. Very similar to what we saw with Cedar and Crimson Cliffs. Dixie comes away with the 3-0 win. So there you have it. And right now, Crimson Cliffs still on top in the region standings with a 10-1 record. Desert Hills is number 2, Snow Canyon 3. That is actually a really tight race for 2 and 3 between Desert Hills and Snow Canyon. Cedar smack dab in the middle, followed by Dixie, Pineview, and Hurricane. So that is where things are playing out right now in Region 9 soccer.
Yeah, and I'm just pulling up the RPI for volleyball 4A. Right now, you have Skyview sitting at number 1, Green Canyon number 2. And then the Desert Hills Lady Thunder coming in a solid 3. They actually passed Orem, who had that number 3 for a long time. But Desert Hills gets into the number 3 spot, followed by Orem, Park City, and then the Cedar Lady Reds coming in at a strong number 6. Right behind them, the Hurricane Lady Tigers coming in at number 7, followed by Ridgeline, Payson, Mountain View, the Lady Warriors coming in at 11, and then Stansbury, Provo number 13, Hillcrest number 14. I'm just going to find that's Crimson Cliffs Lady Mustangs at 18, the Dixie Lady Flyers at 20, and the Pineview Lady Panthers, yikes, at 26.
By the way, I pulled up 2A because we have a bunch of 2A schools here in southern Utah. And Parowan and Kanab are sitting on top right now of the RPI for girls volleyball.
Nice.
So Parowan's number 1, undefeated right now, 13-0. They need to give their football team a little talking to because right now Parowan is 13-0 in volleyball. And if you were to take a look at the...
Where's your Lady Wolves at?
They're smack dab in the middle somewhere back down there. They're sitting in the middle. But
come on, Enterprise, let's go. Pick it up.
Right now, Parowan's football 0-7. So
oh boy,
they need
flip-flop.
to they need to mesh something there.
Yeah.
So Parowan, you got to be really proud of that volleyball team. Tell the football team to step it up.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's a little bit of local stuff on the smaller end of the spectrum.
And I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but Parowan does have a gal up there that actually has verbally committed volleyball to Missouri SEC school. That's incredible.
Yeah. I'm trying to Paige Felder. I want to say that's her name. Paige Felder.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. And she's only a junior.
Yeah,
so
she's only a junior.
She's still got one more year under her belt, but she's a 6'2" junior.
Yeah.
Outside hitter. So
just tremendous. We're talking to one of her coaches from previous years, and he was telling us a little bit about that and that she's going to verbally, like I said, verbally committed to Missouri. And so, my goodness, there's some good stuff coming out of Parowan right now from volleyball. And they won the state championship last year, and it looks like they've got an opportunity to at least try to repeat as well. So, man, that's good. That's some good stuff.
A very good opportunity for sure. So, yeah, congrats to Parowan. So far, so good. You just got to keep it up. Keep it up and show everyone where the championships belong, and that's here in southern Utah.
Yeah.
That is right here in southern Utah. Iron County, we still accept you.
We can
keep some championships right there. We'll still be happy about it.
And they're listening to us up there on, is it 95.3?
93.1.
93.1. 93.1. It's so funny. You know, we have our stations down here. You work on another station as well.
I do. There's a lot of numbers floating around in this brain.
That's what I'm saying is just be like down here, Coney Country is 99.9.
Yeah.
Up there it's 99.6.
Yeah.
And then there's, we have other stations too. And again, sometimes I get those messed up, but it's 93.1. That's right, 93.1.
I have only once in the history of our entire show gone on here and started saying, hey, welcome in. You're listening to Planet 105.1, which is the other station I'm on. I've only ever done that once.
Now, have you ever been on the Planet and said, the Fan Sports Network?
No, I never have.
Wow.
I have never done that.
We need to get that. We need to get the Fan Sports Network and From the Bleachers just etched into your head so you do it on the Planet.
I've never done that over there, but I have done it here. And the reason I did it here was because I was doing some stuff with that station right up until the start of our show, and our show started, and I was still just locked into that mode of the other station. and it was a rough time. It was a
Yeah.
rough time, but yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Good
shout
stuff.
Shout out to our sister stations. So.
You know, and remember back in the infancy of our station, every now and then the Planet station would just
hop in.
happen to be on our station.
Well, and we were running out of the same room, and so
Yes,
it was a lot
exactly.
easier for that to happen because we were kind of trying to switch back and forth with the hardware, with the equipment. You know,
we've really grown up here.
we have our own room now.
Yeah.
It's like when you're little and you have to share a room with your siblings, you know, and then eventually some other siblings move out, or you move into a bigger house or something, and you finally get your own room.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? We finally got our own room.
Yep, I agree.
Mom and Dad decided to turn the garage into a bedroom.
Yep. We got it.
So we got it. All right, let's take a break. We got more coming up next. Stick around with us here on From the Bleachers.
Hey, it's Caden Formaster.
And Mark Musgrave, the voice you know with the Fan Sports Network.
Check out our local sports radio show, From the Bleachers, live every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Listen to us on the radio on 99.5 or 95.3 FM.
You can also listen through the Fan Sports Network app or watch the show live on the Fan Sports Network YouTube page.
The Fan Sports Network is your home of Utah Tech Trailblazers, high school sports, and the pros.
The Fan Sports Network, Southern Utah's home for local sports.
Did you know that St. George News has a new app? Download the St. George News app today and stay up to date on everything happening in Southern Utah. Get instant notifications on news, weather, sports, and more. Download the app today and get your local news now.
Media is everywhere. It's a part of our daily life, our routine, not just for entertainment, but to stay informed. Local media has the biggest impact on your daily life. It's what's around you, what matters. And at Canyon Media, our goal is to deliver the very best in local entertainment, news, and media. From our award-winning radio stations like 99.9 Coney Country to Southern Utah's #1 source for local news, St. George News, we believe in delivering free, fast, and accurate local news, entertainment, and information to all of Southern Utah through our entertaining on-air personalities and music, compelling local shows, and community events like the City of St. George 4th of July celebration and charitable events like Coney Corns for Kids. From our entire team of dedicated designers, videographers, salespeople, digital marketers, writers, and on-air talent, thank you for letting us be a part of your daily life. Canyon Media, here for you.
Hey, it's Sheldon Demke. Check out the latest episode of What's on the Menu, a behind-the-scenes tour of local restaurants. We'll see some of their favorite dishes and get an inside look on how these dishes are prepared. Check out this week's episode at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Check out this week's edition of TGIF on stgeorgenews.com. TGIF is your weekend adventure guide to all the fun and exciting things going on in Southern Utah this weekend. Find this week's edition at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Have a blast this weekend.
As a local business owner, it's important to get the word out about your business. More people equals more revenue for you. Get your business in front of over 160,000 people in Southern Utah each week with St. George News. Contact St. George News today.
Welcome back in, everybody. It is From the Bleachers here on the Fan Sports Network. Caden Formaster and Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
And hopping into the studio with us as well is Jason Baum.
How you doing?
Doing
Jason
well.
Baum.
So, Mark's got the voice you know, and when I was coaching, because I'd sit there and yell at the kids on the side and try to get plays in and that, I got the name the Bomb Intercom. Does that work?
Oh, yeah, totally. Dude, I like that. Why didn't you tell us that before?
I like that, too. That's a good
The
one.
Bomb Intercom.
On the bomb. I can get loud. This is my quiet inside voice.
Yeah.
So I can be loud. So
Yeah, and I think I've told the story before where we were doing youth football, and one of the moms came up to, actually Devin Dixon was on our coaching staff as well, and one of the moms came up to Devin and said, why do they have to yell so much? Well, it's because it's our outside voices. Football is very emotional. So, yeah. Anyways, I got it.
I used to tell the kids up front, I'm yelling towards you, not at you.
Yes, exactly.
Especially when it comes to football, because
absolutely,
it's like, come on, you're sitting there 50 yards away from me. I got to make sure you can hear me. You got to get loud
with the helmet on.
Yeah,
with the helmet on.
Yeah, it's you got to love it. Football's so Bomb Intercom is here. So the
Bomb
voice
Intercom.
you know, and the Bomb Intercom.
Bomb Intercom.
Well, Jason, before we get to you real quick, we do want to remind our listeners we've got 4 tickets to the Shriners Children's Open in Las Vegas. If you want to go see some professional golf just down the road in Las Vegas, text in right now to the text line the word PAR, P-A-R, the number 435-990-9950. Text in that number right now.
Or you can get on our YouTube link, and you can put PAR in the chat box.
Now, we were talking about right before the break, accidentally saying the wrong station when we're talking on the radio. I have almost given out my personal phone number when giving out the station phone number.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's not fun.
Yeah.
To have your personal phone number going out over the airwaves.
Right.
Just give me a call.
Yeah, just give me a call.
I give out mine all the time. So
yeah, well, if yours is for business, I don't know why they would be reaching out to me, but I can guarantee nobody's going to be texting me for business purposes if I'm throwing that out on the radio.
And I'll throw this out. I don't know if you. I mean, going to professional golf tournaments, I've had so many people be like, "Dude, that's got to be so boring," and you got to go to one. You have to. I don't care if you're a golf
fun stuff
lover or not. Go check out a golf tournament. They are such a good time.
And the great thing about TPC Summerlin too is it's definitely a walkable course. There's not a lot of elevation up and down, or you can just kind of chill on the grassy hills and just watch players just come through. So there's a couple of ways that you can really enjoy that. You can follow your favorite player, or you can just kind of chill out on one of the side hills.
And that's the cool thing. That's what I mean. My first time going to a tournament, I didn't have a particular player I wanted to walk around and follow. So we sat in the bleachers and just had a great time. It was so much fun. We were down in Texas and had people from all over the country come and talk. We'd say we were from Utah, and it just was an instant conversation starter.
Yeah. And that's one of my favorite things too, was just sitting at one spot, because then you get to see a little bit of everybody. Yeah. You know, you get to see a little bit of everybody. You get to see how people approach that specific hole differently.
Yep.
Which is very interesting. So, yeah, it's really fun. There's a lot of ways to go view golf. There's a lot of ways to view golf. So.
And like I said, you don't have to love golf to enjoy going to one of those.
Hey, and sometimes it's nice to just go sit outside and just hang out around people. Yeah.
It's still an event. So, yeah, I'd tell people, go check them out. They're fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, of course, Jason, you're here with for yourself with Bay Equity Home Loans. Tell us a little bit about what's going on in the market, or what people can do to get a hold of you to get more information.
So it's first of all, thank you guys for the shout outs at the games. I love being able to sponsor the long bomb of the game.
Yes. I like when we get some long bombs
me
so
too.
that we can throw some shout outs your way too.
We haven't had a ton of them, but I love hearing that. My wife starts to laugh every time. She makes fun of me, but anyway, no, appreciate that. The market, let me just tell you that it's interesting. I mean, we are still in a housing shortage. I know it seems crazy. You drive around here and you see all the houses being built. You think interest rates are up, and so there's fewer buyers on the market. But the reality is we are still in a housing shortage. So when rates come down, and all those people who have been waiting for rates to come down hit the market, guess what's going to happen to those homes? They're going to hit. And sellers know this. So we have a bunch of people who wouldn't mind selling their house, but they're not putting it on the market because they don't think it'll sell because of the high interest rates, or they think they have to lower the price in order to do it. So you've got a bunch of people who are willing to sell but are holding off. You got people who want to buy but are holding off.
Yeah,
and it's like I said, I mentioned this last week. There's all the predictors are saying we are heading for kind of a big storm of when these rates do come down. Now that hasn't been a problem because rates are continuing to go up.
Right.
So, and there's a lot of factors in that. But I will just remind everybody, if look at what investors are doing, and should you be doing what they do or the opposite? And if it's right now, investors are buying. They're still taking advantage of it. They're still getting involved with either nightly rentals. And there's, I was just telling Mark, there are more investor programs out there than I can remember. There's all kinds of opportunities to get in the market. So if you have questions, my big thing right now is if you have questions, if there was ever a time to get educated, this is it. Get educated. I don't care if you're ready to buy. I don't care if you're thinking, hey, we're 2-3 years out, or we can't buy right now because we're in this situation. Call me anyway. Let me figure out where you are, and then let's put together a game plan. But get educated. It may not be a conversation where we talk about you getting into a home right now or getting into a rental property right now, but at least we get you educated and you start making decisions based on knowledge.
Love it.
Sometimes it's good to just know your options.
Yep. So call me, 801-592-9387 is my cell. Bombloans.com is the best way to really find me.
And that's BAUM loans.com.
Very good.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, time for now. Speaking of bomb, let's get to the bomb sports moment. And I know we're talking football.
Always. It's got to be football.
That time of year.
So, obviously this week, I think the game that everybody was kind of oohing and ahhing over was the Dolphins absolutely putting a beating on the Broncos.
It was awesome.
It was
I don't care. Listen, for Bronco fans, it wasn't awesome. I'm indifferent. I just like seeing teams just score a lot of points. It was kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, first of all, I thought I'd hit a few of the notes on that one, just see how you guys did as far as just recent trivia, and then we'll jump into. Of course, that led me. If you're going to go bomb sports moment or the bomb moment, you've got to go with the 72 Dolphins, undefeated. So we'll get into some trivia on the 72 Dolphins, but let's start with the game. Dolphins had how many total yards?
700 and what was it? 740 something. I want to say. I could be wrong.
I'll go 765.
726.
Oh, 726.
Should have went lower.
Yep.
I knew it was in the 700 range. That's about as far as I got.
It was the second most points scored. What do you guys know? What the highest points?
72.
72 points.
Yep. By Washington.
Washington. Yep.
In 1966.
Yep.
Is that correct?
There you go. Okay, so this is the first time that they had over 350 yards of rushing and they had 376 yards of passing, which averaged 10.2 yards per play on passing. That's not bad.
A first down every single time you're throwing the ball. How about
that?
Yeah,
I know, exactly. Every time you snap the ball.
Every time you're snapping the ball, it's a first down.
Yep. Who was the other team who had over 700 yards in a game? There was another team who's broke 700 yards in a single game. It was 1951.
Oh, 1951.
Wow. I'm just gonna go with like the Giants.
I'll go. You know what? I'm gonna go Broncos.
It was the Rams.
The Rams.
Oh, the Rams.
Yep, they scored 70 points, had 700 yards of offense.
Wow.
So yeah,
all right.
Not bad. And the thing about it, they didn't do half of that in passing, which means they had a good running day.
Yeah, exactly.
They had a good running day. Tua went 17 of 17 on his first 17 passes. Do you know what he finished with?
I don't have the game stats pulled up in front of me. I'm trying to do this just off the cuff, but I'm going to go 28 of 32.
I'm going to go 23 of 26.
Mark's cheating.
I know Mark's cheating. Of course Mark's cheating. What else is new?
What are you talking about?
The little smirk on his face tells it all.
You can tell by the minute he turned. I'm going to go.
Let me think.
Mark,
wow, this is the
Mark, I want to play poker with you because when you got a good hand and go, I want to go.
Dude, I could tell from the second he looked at me to see, I wonder if Caden knows what this is. He just gave me this, there's just this slight little look in his eye of, I already know what the answer is, so I'll let you go first.
And I think Mike White went 2 for 2 in that game, by the way, too.
There you go.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the 72 Dolphins.
By the way, Mike White had more fantasy points than like 3 other starting quarterbacks last week.
Yeah.
And he only threw the ball twice.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's another piece of trivia there for you.
Nice. They had the running back had 4 touchdowns, 270 yards. Yeah, his fantasy points were okay. If you had him, you might have been fine. Okay. You may have won that game. Okay, so 1972 Dolphins.
Okay.
Their record was perfect.
Yeah.
How many games did they win?
14.
Do you include the
Well,
playoffs?
totally?
Do you include the
you
playoffs?
want me to give you the choices? 14,
Well, it would
17,
be
19, and 16.
It would be 17.
17 with the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's
But
correct.
14
Yes.
regular season.
Yep, there you go. 72 Dolphins had a home field. Did the 72 Dolphins have home field advantage during the playoffs?
Well, this sounds like a trick question.
You would think yes because they were
I
undefeated.
know.
True or false?
I'm gonna say false just because it sounds like it's a trick question. I want to say true because they should have been.
I'll say true,
but
but
I'm
I
gonna say
believe
false.
it's false.
It is false
Yeah.
because back then they alternated years of who got the championship, AFC, NFC.
Oh, gotcha.
And it was the NFC. So they actually had to go play in, that's actually a question we'll be coming up to. So I won't give that away. What team did they defeat in the Super Bowl?
I believe it was the Dallas Cowboys.
It was not.
It wasn't.
Nope.
I honestly don't know.
Super Bowl
who was.
7. I'll give you choices: Dallas, Green Bay, Washington, and Minnesota.
Let's go Green Bay.
I'll go Minnesota.
It was Washington.
Oh, the one we didn't pick. The one we
I
didn't.
thought maybe
All right.
Fran Tarkenton was
There
part
you
of
go.
that.
Who was named the Super Bowl 7 MVP? Bob Greasy, Paul Warfield, Nick Bonaconti, or Jake Scott?
Well, I was going to say Larry Zonka, but since he's not in that group, I'm not going to say that. And this was back in a day, though, too, that the quarterback, it wasn't always the quarterback. So what are the three choices? What are the four choices again?
Bob Greasy, Paul Warfield, Nick Bonaconti, or Jake Scott?
I'm going to go Warfield.
I'm going to go Jake Scott.
It is Jake Scott.
Jake Scott.
When Bob Greasy went out injured, as the quarterback continued their winning ways, who replaced Bob Greasy for those 4 playoff games, including one playoff game, one game in the playoffs?
Do you have anything?
No.
You want names? Don
Yes.
Stock, George Wilson,
His name was Earl.
Jim Delgazio, or Earl Murrell?
Earl
Earl Murrell.
It was Earl Murrell.
That's a great name.
Yeah.
And Don Shula called it one of the hardest decisions he had to make because he did take him 4-0. Bob Greasy took him 5-0. Then Earl come in there, won 4 in a row, including a playoff game. And then he wasn't doing well in that playoff game, so they put Bob Greasy in. He took him, of course, come back to the victory.
Right.
And then he ended up putting Bob Greasy in to play in the Super Bowl. So Bob Greasy attended which college?
This is the thing I'm horrible
want-
at. I don't know where
you
anybody
want-
went to school.
I'm going to say Michigan.
I'll give you the choices.
Okay.
Notre Dame, Indiana, Purdue, Penn State.
I'm going to go Purdue.
That's what I was going to go with as well.
It is Purdue.
Yeah.
Very
Hey.
good. Miami Dolphins beat which team 52-0 during their perfect season?
Ooh.
Please don't tell me it
Colts,
was the
Patriots,
Raiders.
Oilers, or Jets?
I'm going to go Patriots.
What were the other choices?
Colts, Patriots, Oilers, or Jets?
I'll say Colts.
It was the Patriots.
Yeah.
Okay. Which 2 teams did the Dolphins beat in the playoffs to get to the Super Bowl? Colts, Chiefs, Raiders, Jets, Bills, Oilers, or Browns, Steelers?
I'm going to say Browns, Steelers.
I'm going to go whatever the first choice was. Colts and something. I don't remember. what it
Colts,
was.
Chiefs.
Yeah, that one.
It was Browns, Steelers.
Okay.
How did Miami's opponent in Super Bowl 7 get their only touchdown? A long pass, a long run, a QB sneak, or a blocked field goal?
Blocked field goal sounds fun.
So does a QB sneak, though.
Okay, I'll go blocked field goal.
Okay,
you
I'm going to go
QB
QB sneak.
It is the blocked field goal, and
The
I
blocked
know
field goal.
you have seen these highlights.
I'm sure I have.
This is
Sure.
the highlight where he blocks it. The punter picks it up and goes to throw it. And
Yeah.
slips out of
Oh,
his
it
hand.
slips out of his hand. That's
Yes,
right.
I remember
Yes.
Yep. In
Yes.
fact, there's some great trivia on that as well as I was researching for this.
Yeah.
He talks about that he actually became a hermit for 2 weeks after that.
Oh, I
Really?
would too.
He was
I
so
would too.
traumatized by it. Even though they won the game, he was so traumatized by it that they said he sat in his room for 2 weeks and wouldn't
Oh,
leave.
my gosh.
And that and to this day, and He died in 2008, but they said one of his last interviews, he talked about how embarrassed he was and what a shame, and that it still haunts him to watch the people because they always show the video. I mean, that's just like a classic video of him trying to throw the pass after.
Right.
So anyway, so Yannick, here's, I believe, what his last name. Anyway, some really fun trivia if you want to go research that. How did, let's see, we did that one. Okay, Super Bowl VII was played in which city?
You know what? I'm just going to go. Back then, there was only a few choices.
There were very few
Dallas,
choices.
Houston, Los Angeles, or Palo Alto, California?
I'll go Palo Alto.
That's actually kind of what I was thinking, but I'll go Dallas.
It was Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Now, here's a fun trivia question. It was January 14th. Do you have any idea what the weather was that day? What the temperature was the day they played the Super Bowl in the Coliseum?
46 degrees.
I'm going to go with a balmy 52.
It was 87 degrees. One of the
geez.
hardest outdoor.
See, I thought he was going opposite.
I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be.
That's why I threw it out there.
Side.
January 14th. You're thinking, okay, it's got to be a little cooler.
But it is Southern California, so you never know.
They had one of those warm, winds that came through. 87 degrees when they kicked off. They said it was one of the warmest football Super Bowls ever played.
Wow.
Which player led the team in rushing? Jim Kike, Larry Zonka, Marcus Morris, or Herbert Ginn?
Gotta be Zonka.
It was Larry Zonka.
Okay.
I wasn't going to argue that.
Yeah, had to be.
I wasn't going to argue that.
Okay, prior to playing the Dolphins, Nick Bonaconte played for which team? You guys remember? Do you remember Nick Bonaconte?
Not really, dude.
Yeah, he used to be an announcer. I remember
he
more
did?
as an announcer doing the games. Like, back when there was 2 stations or 3 stations, and Nick Bonaconte used to always do the games. He was a highlight guy, and he has a great highlight voice. He does a lot of the voiceover stuff you see for NFL films. But he played for Jets, Raiders, Patriots, or Chiefs. Well, since you guys don't even remember,
I'll go Patriots.
It was the Patriots.
There you go.
All right, who had the most receiving TDs on the perfect team? You guys.
I'll go.
How many of these are you guys going to
I'll go Warfield.
Bursko, Twila, Mandich, or Warfield?
I'm going to go Warfield because it's the wide receiver I remember from that team.
Yeah. It was actually Marlon Briscoe.
Oh, was it really?
Briscoe.
Yep. And Jim Kike attended which college? Wyoming, Utah, Wisconsin, or Indiana State?
Wyoming.
Utah.
That is correct.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
That was just a guess. That was purely a guess, right?
Purely a guess, yes.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah, I was like, when I read those choices, I'm like, really? Okay. Let's see. Who read? We'll go with the last one here. Don Shula is the head coach for the Dolphins, obviously. Who did he coach for before that season?
He came from the Tom Landry branch coaching tree, I believe.
Okay. So you think he came from Dallas?
I think so.
It was actually the Colts.
Dang it.
It was actually the Colts. And I had some more questions, and they got cut off, so I'm going to see if I can get them back here. Okay, there we go. I found them. All right. Let's see. What was the name? Okay, the defense had a name. It was actually given to him by Tom Landry. What was the name of the defense?
Well, I'm going to go.
Steel Curtain.
Nope. It didn't have a name. It was a no-name defense.
Where are you reading that?
My eyes are up here. I was looking up here the whole time.
Really? No-name defense.
Yeah.
That is correct. It was the no-name defense.
I used to watch NFL films, dude.
There you go. Exactly. There we go. All right.
In fact, my screen went black.
Let's see. Let's go really fun here. Who can you name who did the halftime show for the
1972.
1972 the Super Bowl 72. Who was the halftime show?
Jeez. Male or female?
2 guys.
2 guys. The Blues Brothers. No, not them. Don't just disregard that.
2 dudes. It wasn't Hall & Oates. They weren't famous yet.
No. Do we got to go more 60s famous?
Yeah, I don't even know where to put these guys as far as their fame, and I didn't know the one was even really a singer, but whatever. It was Andy Williams and Woody Herman. And they
never would have got that.
And they sing "Happiness Is," and "Put on a Happy Face," "Woodchopper's Ball."
Oh my
and
gosh!
"This Land Is Your Land."
I'll tell you what, halftime shows, they have come a long way.
They've changed.
Holy
Put on
crap.
a happy face.
Yeah, exactly. Can you?
Wow, imagine going to
But hey, it was a different America at the time.
That's true. Could you imagine?
"Woodchopper's Ball." I mean, I don't even know what that song is.
Hey, we got Usher for the halftime show this year. Could you imagine Usher in 1972 trying to put on a halftime show?
Wow.
That sounds like a really bad idea.
Okay, now here's the last one I have for you.
Okay.
The 72 Dolphins, they continued their winning streak after, obviously, the next year. It continued for several games. They attribute their winning to a superstitious thing. Do you guys happen to know what that superstition was? There was a very famous superstition that they participated in.
Is it the not washing your socks or
what? The first time that they lost, they did not participate in this particular superstition, and they lost the game.
There's a lot of superstitions.
A weird thing. You guys won't get it, but I'll just tell you.
Tell us.
When I was researching it, I was fascinated by it.
Yeah.
So a local bar owner who, you're in Miami, so you've got cultures there, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she had a voodoo doll, and she would make a new one each week that looked like the quarterback of the opposing team.
Okay.
And the players would all come to this bar and put pins into the voodoo doll. The defense particularly would put pins into the doll of this particular woman's thing. And the first game that they missed, they were doing a West Coast swing, and they decided not to come home and then go back out. So they went from one seed to the next, and that was the first time they'd missed in 14 games, and that's when they lost.
Wow.
So
interesting.
The voodoo doll.
Worked, man.
So can you imagine, again, just putting in perspective, hearing that story and then what the value of like the Joe Namath voodoo doll would be worth today?
Oh my gosh.
With the pins still in it.
Yes. Holy crap.
I mean, can you imagine? That would be, have the article, have the pictures of the players putting the pins in, and then have that doll. That would be worth a few bucks in today's world.
Tremendous.
Yeah. So that's my Miami's Dolphins football trivia. That's what I had for you for the Bomb Sports Moment. Hopefully next week I'll try to do some baseball, Mark. I know you're a baseball guy.
Thank you. We're going into postseason play, so
we are, and it's I'll try to find something interesting. Postseason baseball.
There's tons of stuff.
I know, but man, football's so much more fun.
I'm
a football junkie. You guys know that. Caden even kind of
agree
talked
with
about
that.
me during his broadcast. He's like, I know that there's guys at home that have 4 or 5 TVs going at once.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there like,
and I'm like,
guilty. That's me.
Like, can he see my?
I just got a live stream into Bomb's living room right now.
Can he see what I've got going on? And there were some great games. I don't know if you guys ever watched some of the up north teams, but man, that American Fork rivalry game with Lone Peak. Oh man, that was a great high school football game. Fun to watch. And then there's a couple others. Mountain, I can't remember one of the mountain teams up there.
Yeah,
had a great game as well against Bingham. That was a fun game to watch. So, and then some of the northern teams that we're going to be facing. I was watching Green Canyon, and everybody had Green Canyon picked, and I just don't. I'm not buying into Green Canyon. I don't think they win. They had them picked over Ridgeline, which Perry's pick, and I'm like, Perry's team. Perry's usually a little more on ball with that. That was just a poor pick in my opinion, but yeah, the Ridgeline took it to them. Anyway.
Ridgeline and Skyview are the two teams from Region 11 that are the only teams to really worry about it, in my opinion.
And
it
honestly,
comes long term down to the semifinals and finals.
Them going to 27 teams, I thought, okay, they're going to add some. But I'm not particularly, again, the teams that worry me the most for our Region 9 teams are Region 10 teams.
Skyview and Ridgeline, those are the ones.
Northern schools.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to get a mix in here, but Park City
will be up there for sure.
I mean, let's put it this way. Okay, so they beat the Stallions, who the Crimson just put a whooping on, right?
Yep.
Okay, they beat the Stallions. The Stallions had 9 turnovers in that game.
Jeez.
And they beat them by 4 points.
Park City right now 7-0.
Yeah.
As is Skyview. Skyview's sitting number 1 in the RPI, followed by Crimson Cliffs, Provo, Ridgeline, Park City.
I forget Provo's doing well.
Green Canyon, and then Snow Canyon, number 7.
But I'm not super. I've watched a Provo, couple of Provo games. Not super concerned about them. Watch them. Like I said, I think they play Spanish Fork this week. That'll be kind of telling. But they, like I said, I'm not super concerned about what I see out of Provo.
Spanish Fork is 3-3, sitting number 17 in the RPI.
Yeah. So they've lost to Salem Hills, who, like I said, has shown situations where they've been good, but not. I'm too much of a junkie, you guys. I could sit and talk to you about high school football until you're
all day long.
You're bored, but anyway, it's going to be a fun year. It's going to be interesting with the extra teams to see how it. Because, like I said, I think really looking at like even last week. I mean, Cedar got off to a rough start, but man, I watched that game last week, and they're starting to find their rhythm. They're finding out who they are, and they get back. And I feel bad for those teams who have underestimated them coming into it.
Yeah,
and it's going to be really interesting to watch these Southern Utah. Even Hurricane is kind of finding a rhythm. They look much improved over what I've seen them, and if they can figure out their offensive line, I think they could be a problem for some of these northern teams.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we got to get to a break. Jason, thanks for the Bomb Sports moment.
Hey, thanks for letting me come in.
You betcha.
Yeah, as always. All right, we got to take a break. More coming up next. Stick around.
Hey, it's Caden Formaster.
And Mark Musgrave, the voice you know with the Fan Sports Network.
Check out our local sports radio show From the Bleachers live every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Listen to us on the radio on 99.5 or 95.3 FM.
You can also listen through the Fan Sports Network app or watch the show live on the Fan Sports Network YouTube page.
The Fan Sports Network is your home of Utah Tech Trailblazers, high school sports, and the pros.
The Fan Sports Network, Southern Utah's home for local sports.
Did you know that St. George News has a new app? Download the St. George News app today and stay up to date on everything happening in Southern Utah. Get instant notifications on news, weather, sports, and more. Download the app today and get your local news now.
Media is everywhere. It's a part of our daily life, our routine, not just for entertainment, but to stay informed. Local media has the biggest impact on your daily life. It's what's around you, what matters. And at Canyon Media, our goal is to deliver the very best in local entertainment, news, and media. From our award-winning radio stations like 99.9 Coney Country to Southern Utah's #1 source for local news, St. George News, we believe in delivering free, fast, and accurate local news, entertainment, and information to all of Southern Utah through our entertaining on-air personalities and music, compelling local shows, and community events like the City of St. George 4th of July celebration and charitable events like Coney Coins for Kids. From our entire team of dedicated designers, videographers, salespeople, digital marketers, writers, and on-air talent, thank you for letting us be a part of your daily life. Canyon Media, here for you.
Hey, it's Sheldon Demke. Check out the latest episode of What's on the Menu, a behind-the-scenes tour of local restaurants. We'll see some of their favorite dishes and get an inside look on how these dishes are prepared. Check out this week's episode at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Check out this week's edition of TGIF on stgeorgenews.com. TGIF is your weekend adventure guide to all the fun and exciting things going on in Southern Utah this weekend. Find this week's edition at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Have a blast this weekend.
As a local business owner, it's important to get the word out about your business. More people equals more revenue for you. Get your business in front of over 160,000 people in Southern Utah each week with St. George News. Contact St. George News today.
Welcome back in, everybody. It is From the Bleachers here on the Fan Sports Network. Caden Formaster and Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
It's always good to get Jason Baum in the studio with us to talk a little bit about whatever he's got on his plate for the day. You know, he always brings in something new for us, something exciting.
He is a good time, no question about it. And one thing I like about Baum as well is that he is a supporter of high school sports. So he is you know, part of our sponsorship team. You know, that helps us go to all these games. It pays people. You know, we're able to go out and broadcast these games for you guys. Now, you know, maybe you're at the games, and if you are, applaud you. If you can't make it, or if you send our link out to grandma and grandpa, aunts and uncles, you know, he's a big Region 9 and or high school supporter. So, yeah, we love it.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, all the links are ready to go on our website for this Friday night. So if you want to go get those links saved away, head on over to thefansportsnetwork.com, click on the Region 9 tab. You'll see all the games for September 29th right there, ready to go. If you head on over to our YouTube page, those links are over there as well. We're covering every single region game this week. Pineview's the one team with the bye, so they're off for the week. Every other team, the 6 of them, we're covering. We will have those games for you streaming live with the Fan Sports Network. So, yeah, it should be a busy week again, as always.
Yeah,
I mean,
and when it comes to football, the schedule is Crimson Cliffs at Hurricane.
Yep.
We've got Snow Canyon at Desert Hills.
Yep.
And then the big rivalry, and we'll talk a lot about that in coming up at the top of the hour. But Cedar at Dixie, what a rivalry that is.
It's a big one. It's a big one. We're excited to get into that a little bit today. And again, that's a game that we're going to be broadcasting on Friday night. You can tune in on YouTube or on the fansportsnetwork.com. I'm going to be there on that broadcast. And I was just talking with Baum about it. He's stoked for that one. It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Always good to have those old rivalries coming into play. So
now, Caden, I've got 3 headlines, 1 story. Are you ready?
Oh yeah, let's do it. Always ready.
Okay. You want to put a little background music on us?
Oh sure.
What do you got over there?
Let's
Something
see.
good.
Let's see. Something good. How about, you know what? I've got something for you.
Okay.
Give me a second. Let's go with, let's go with, sorry, I'm looking through all sorts of music. It's taking way too long.
Okay.
It's taking way too long.
Well, we don't have to do it, but.
How about we go with this?
Okay. Oh, love it. Love me a little Magnum PI.
There you go. Yep.
All right. 3 headlines, 1 story. Caden, you tell me which one you want to hear more about, okay?
Okay, so
airplane passengers refunded $1,400 for farting dog mishap. Oh, my God. That's pretty good.
That's awesome.
Also, probably haunted sign posted outside funeral home that is for sale. Probably.
It's probably haunted. We'd assume.
And the last one, sheep wander into greenhouse and eat 600 pounds of marijuana plants.
I already knew that one was coming. Once you said they wander into greenhouse, I was like, oh.
Which one do you want to hear a little bit more about?
Man, I gotta find out what happened to those sheep.
The sheep? I thought you were gonna go farting dog.
The farting dog is also pretty awesome.
Well, a flock of sheep, they found their way into a greenhouse.
Isn't it a herd of sheep?
It says here a flock of sheep.
Okay.
A flock of sheep found their way into a greenhouse in Greece, and they ate more than 600 pounds of marijuana plants being cultivated. Now, they say here for medical use. Yeah, sure.
Sheep can be called one of 3 things: a flock, a herd, or a fold.
Okay. And I would have probably went with fold with those
like
3
fold.
choices.
Fold's a good one.
But yeah, they say it was for medical use is what they were going for. Sure.
Yeah.
Giannis Bornis, the owner of the greenhouse in Magnesia, said his crop had already been damaged by heat and recent floods when the flock of sheep managed to enter the greenhouse and feast on the remaining cannabis plants. He estimated the sheep munched their way through about 600 pounds of plants, and the sheep were jumping higher than goats after eating their ill-begotten greenery. Greece legalized medical marijuana back in 2017, and the country opened its first cannabis production plant earlier this year. So, yeah, the sheep were jumping higher than goats. They were probably really hungry, too. A little snacky.
Yeah, well, it gives a whole new meaning to being high.
Right, exactly.
Physically and, well, physically.
Yeah.
I guess you could say. That's pretty funny. That's a great news story. Nothing wrong with some high sheep. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it is good
That's
stuff.
pretty good. The farting dog on the airplane was a good number 2 choice.
I kind of thought you were going to lean farting dog. I was ready to go with that one.
Farting dogs are also funny.
Yeah.
But, hey, you getting compensated because somebody's dog's farting? Great way to make some money.
That's for sure.
All right, we're going to be taking a break, and when we come back again, it's top of the hour here, 5 o'clock hour on From the Bleachers, so stick around. We got a guest as well coming in, so make sure to stick around and head on over to our YouTube, where you can watch us live on the Fan Sports Network YouTube page.
Hey, it's Caden Formaster.
And Mark Musgrave, the voice you know with the Fan Sports Network.
Check out our local sports radio show, From the Bleachers, live every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Listen to us on the radio on 99.5 or 95.3 FM.
You can also listen through the Fan Sports Network app or watch the show live on the Fan Sports Network YouTube page.
The Fan Sports Network is your home of Utah Tech Trailblazers, high school sports, and the pros.
The Fan Sports Network, Southern Utah's home for local sports.
Did you know that St. George News has a new app? Download the St. George News app today and stay up to date on everything happening in Southern Utah. Get instant notifications on news, weather, sports, and more. Download the app today and get your local news now.
Media is everywhere. It's a part of our daily life, our routine, not just for entertainment, but to stay informed. Local media has the biggest impact on your daily life. It's what's around you, what matters. And at Canyon Media, our goal is to deliver the very best in local entertainment, news, and media. From our award-winning radio stations like 99.9 Coney Country to Southern Utah's #1 source for local news, St. George News, we believe in delivering free, fast, and accurate local news, entertainment, and information to all of Southern Utah through our entertaining on-air personalities and music, compelling local shows, and community events like the City of St. George 4th of July celebration and charitable events like Coney Coins for Kids. From our entire team of dedicated designers, videographers, salespeople, digital marketers, writers, and on-air talent, thank you for letting us be a part of your daily life. Canyon Media, here for you.
Hey, it's Sheldon Demke. Check out the latest episode of What's on the Menu, a behind-the-scenes tour of local restaurants. We'll see some of their favorite dishes and get an inside look on how these dishes are prepared. Check out this week's episode at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Check out this week's edition of TGIF on stgeorgenews.com. TGIF is your weekend adventure guide to all the fun and exciting things going on in Southern Utah this weekend. Find this week's edition at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Have a blast this weekend.
As a local business owner, it's important to get the word out about your business. More people equals more revenue for you. Get your business in front of over 160,000 people in Southern Utah each week with St. George News. Contact St. George News today.
Welcome back in, everybody. It's From the Bleachers here on the Fan Sports Network. Caden Formaster and Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
And Mark, you brought in a guest today. I want you to introduce him for us here.
Yeah, we've got, I call him Bro. Okay, that's how I know him, Bro. But it's Gary Nelson. He is here to tell us a little bit about the class of 1973 that they are here celebrating their 50-year class reunion. Bro, when you hear that, what goes through your mind?
I'm thinking, can this actually be 50 years?
Yeah.
Because I don't feel that way.
Right, exactly.
I look that way.
Oh, you look great.
But you know what I'm saying? But my spirit inside says, I want to be back on that football field again. You know what I'm saying? Or playing tennis again.
Right. Now, just a little bit of a background is now you've worked actually for the church and a seminary teacher. How many years did you do that for?
So, Mark, I was 36 and a half years in religious education.
Okay.
20, let's go, I was 13 years teaching institute and 23 and a half teaching seminary.
Wow.
So that's quite a while.
And you taught
and the average, I figured I taught over 22,370 lessons in my career.
Oh, my gosh.
Over 5,000 students.
And I got to tell you, the guy means the world to me. Anytime you ever need anything, you know, I try my best to just be at your becking call because the guy just means a ton to me. So you taught at Dixie High School as well during that tenure as well. How many years did you teach at Dixie?
I was 15 years at the Dixie High Seminary there.
Okay.
From 1987 through 2002.
Wow.
So that was awesome to go back to my alma mater.
Yeah.
It's Dixie High is an amazing place. Our class is amazing. Class of 73. We have about 220 members of that class, classmates, and we got a big reunion coming up. It's pretty awesome, Friday and Saturday.
And we'll talk about that in a second, but also too, as you know, and all of our listeners know, most of them do, that I do the PA announcing. I'm the voice of the Thunder at Desert Hills High School. I still have a little bit of blue blood that rolls through me. I cheer for them when they're not playing Desert Hills. You are the voice of somebody as well. What do you do behind the microphone?
Well, let me tell you, I'm in my 20th year.
20th, wow.
As the voice of the Union Cougar football team in Roosevelt. And I'm going into my 19th year being the voice of the Union Cougar boys basketball team.
Okay.
And I started out actually back in the day at Dixie High School. I used to announce all the wrestling matches for them. And then I did a little stringing for the Spectrum for a couple of years. I did all the sports in Washington County at the time, including the college.
Okay.
And one time I was out at the college, and the coach stringing for a women's basketball game, and the coach says, "So while you're here, why don't you just announce?"
Yeah.
So I started announcing Dixie College women's basketball.
Nice.
And then a guy by the name of Tom Backman, who was the editor of the Spectrum at the time, sports editor, he broke away to start the Red Desert Digest. So I started stringing there and did all the sports in the county. So I've got a little bit of background coming there, and used to announce for all of the regional drill team competition here in the county. So
I'm a huge fan of drill competition for sure.
It's awesome.
It really is tremendous.
And you know what's really neat is I'm kind of associated with that 4-Pete Dixie High Flyer Jetette group.
Yeah.
Because I've got a granddaughter who is a drill team member of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Faith Nelson. A shout out to Faith, man. She's a junior at Dixie High.
You got to have faith.
Got to have faith, baby.
That's right.
Faith,
love
hope,
it.
charity, and love.
Now, what high school in the state of Utah, I'm not going to use the word hate because I don't like that word.
Let's just
go
with biggest rivalry.
What high school in the state of Utah do you dislike the most?
Well,
come on. I know the answer to this because I was brainwashed as a Dixie Flyer alum as well. I tell Caden all the time, I'm still getting over finding bright spots in Cedar. To all of our Cedar listeners, I love you guys. I am finding bright spots up in Cedar. I love the Bronco Burger.
You love Brad's.
I love it at Brad's Food Hut.
Brad's.
Absolutely. It's no Frost Top, but I love Brad's Food Hut. Okay. I'm finding bright spots in Cedar, but it was just something that you grew up. they groomed us. When I say they, I guess it's teachers and coaches and everything. They groom us to really dislike Cedar. Coach Don Lay was one of the coaches that really got me to really, at the time, dislike Cedar City.
Well, and I have a lot of friends in Cedar too, and family members,
and we love them.
But back in the day, and I'm not sure the rivalry is still as intense as it is back then.
Right.
But I mean, there were times where there were C's burned into our football field, and back in the day, the football field was the Lions Dixie Roundup Sun Bowl, okay, and that was our football field, and that was the football field for the college, and D's burned in their field, I'm sure too, and there was no there was no love lost. You know what I'm saying, between that rivalry.
I'm sure there was. Like he wasn't there.
As if he didn't know.
Like he wasn't there.
And then it's been a fierce rivalry for a long time.
Yeah, it has.
And I notice on the region record right now that Dixie's 3-0 region, and Cedar's 2-2. So it's going to be an important game in Region 9.
Yeah, for sure.
Up. And the thing that I thought was interesting is I think back to our Cedar-Dixie rivalry, especially in my senior year. Our team went 13-1 overall. And we had, back then, we only had 5 members of the Region 8, okay? And that was Cedar, Dixie, Hurricane, Millard, and Delta. That was our region, okay, 2A. And back in the day, we played both teams twice.
Yeah, home and away.
Home and away. And so our first game with Cedar we beat them 50-14.
Yikes.
And our second game with Cedar then was 36-8. We were one of the highest scoring offensive football teams in the Western United States. We averaged 52.5 points per game. We only had one loss that year, and it was a practice game with Beaver, Utah. Can you believe that?
Wow. Who were some of the key players on that team?
Well, you can't go wrong without talking about our team captains.
Yeah.
The team captains then were Kirk Topham, Brent Stevenson, Kevin Entz, and Russ Mathis. And we had 6 all-state football recognitions awarded to Lynn Lewis, our quarterback, Kevin Entz, our fullback, Bernie Crawford, our running back. He returned punts and kickoffs, etc. Randy Smith, defense. Brent Stevenson, center. And Kirk Topham, man, wonderful halfback and receiver there. And then we had 2 state football MVP awards that went to Lynn Lewis and Kirk Topham. So we had a great team.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, talking a little bit about this reunion. I mean, it's a lot of history at Dixie just from the time you've been there and graduated until now. And Southern Utah's changed a bit since then. What was it like for you kind of growing up in that atmosphere where around here the rivalries are kind of crosstown rivalries? You just didn't have that back when you were in school.
You know, back in the day, we were just a one high school town. I went to Dixie High School. My dad went to Dixie High School. My grandparents went to Dixie High School. 3 of my 7 children went to Dixie High School before we moved up to Union, and the other 4 graduated there. And so it was a one stoplight town, if you really want to know. And the stoplight was there on the corner of Main Street and St. George Boulevard.
Yeah.
That was the stoplight. So it was, you knew everybody, and if you didn't know everybody, then you probably knew that person's either visiting or just moved in. That's how it was.
Yeah, for sure.
It was, growing up in St. George during my time was like Camelot. It really was. It was a wonderful, wonderful town. And you figure now, we had one high school.
Well,
Dixie High School. Now there's 5.
That high school was on the edge of town, too, over there on 700, wasn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. It was the edge of town.
Yeah. I used to live really pretty close to the high school, and a lot of people that lived in the area would talk about, oh, yeah, this is like out of the way over here.
Right.
And so it's just interesting how much it's changed, because now that's like smack dab in the middle of town. But it's changed a lot.
And back in the day, I mean, you take Dixie football, for example, when we would have games, when we have region games, when we would have state games, I mean, the town would close up and go to the football. It was the show. It was the thing in town to go see.
Yeah.
It was really awesome.
Now, I know you wanted to talk about the name that's on the stadium.
Yes.
I know this is very important to you. Coach Walt Brooks, certainly, I know of him. There could be a lot of our listeners that don't know a lot about Coach Brooks, though, because either they've moved here since then, don't know a whole lot about that Dixie High School legacy. But tell us a little bit about Coach Brooks.
Thank you. It's an honor. Coach Brooks is one of the great heroes of mine in my life. Had a chance to be coached by him and tutored by him and his example. A little bit about him. He had the best winning percentage for 5 state championship games, minimum 4 games. Only two coaches won all 5 championship games they coached. Walt Brooks was one of them, and Ken Schmidt was another one from Skyline. So that's pretty cool. The thing I wanted to just share with you, there are 69 state championships that Dixie High School holds. There are 8 state championships in football. Walt Brooks holds 5 of those. Okay, and so
it's pretty impressive.
He took state in 1957 in football, and it was interesting. He also was the high school coach at that time, basketball, and he took the state basketball championship in 58.
Wow.
So he had back-to-back
Little bit of both.
championships. Then he took state in 67, 72. That's the year we took state. We're class of 73, but it happened in the fall, and 73 and 74. So 5 state football championships. But before he came to Dixie High School in 1949, he was coaching in Hurricane. And what was cool about coaching in Hurricane is he won 4 6-man state championships in Hurricane before he came to Dixie High. Isn't that pretty awesome?
That is awesome.
Talk about success. For
And,
sure.
and not only was he an awesome coach, but he was an example. He graduated from Dixie High himself and from Dixie College and from BYU. He began his teaching career, like I said, in Hurricane, but at BYU, he played basketball and ran track. And when he was here, he was a St. George City council for 8 years. He and his wife, Irene, after he retired, and by the way, when he retired, the city of St. George in 1974 gave him a brand new car to thank him for his service. And that
Awesome.
was there in our stadium then, the Dixie Lions Sun Bowl. He also carried the 2002 Olympic torch, and he competed in the senior games in shot put, discus, and javelin, and he won many medals, mostly gold.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
I don't think I knew that stuff about him.
And he and his wife, after he retired, served 4 LDS Spanish-speaking missions, one in Costa Rica, one in Spain, one in Texas, and one in California.
Wow. That's getting it done.
It's a lot. Yeah.
And I think what's best said is the community. I had the opportunity, or took the opportunity. I felt like we needed to recognize Coach Brooks. And so I went before the school board of Washington County School District, maybe around 2000 or something, and said, hey, would it be possible if we named this stadium after Coach Walt Brooks? At that time, they said no. I pursued it again after his wife, Irene, died. And so this is what's really cool. 22 years ago, on September 7th, 4 days before 9/11, we dedicated Walt Brooks Stadium at Dixie High School in his name. Okay. And we had a convocation that was set up at the St. George Tabernacle. And we had all of the former players come. We had players who wrote things to him, and I've got a big book of all of that there that's people have said about him. And all the players then, after the convocation, we all jumped on like 3 fire trucks, and we all went down to Dixie High School field, where there the Wally Mathis, a former teacher at Dixie High School, he made the introductions there around 6:30. We had a proclamation Walt Brooks Day in St. George by Mayor Daniel D. MacArthur.
Mm-hmm.
We had the unveiling of the sign that would use to fundraise and everything that's still there, built by Yesco, where the Dixie High School fight song was led by the cheerleaders. And we sent up a balloon for every one of his victories, over 300 there.
Oh, wow.
To celebrate that. The dedication of the football field was done by Dr. Craig Booth.
Yeah.
And the football game was Dixie versus Delta. And Coach Brooks, it was so awesome. I was able to ride with him in a convertible Ford by Bradshaw Ford Mercury. And we came up and we got out, and he sat in a nice recliner, blue recliner given by the Whitwers there at Boulevard Furniture. And he was able to shake the hands of all those football players.
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
So that's really neat. So the field means a lot to us. And to have the field named after this great man and great coach. I don't know if you've got a minute, but I thought some of the players that maybe said some things about him.
Yeah, we got a couple minutes. Yeah.
So you've got Kevin Entz. He was our fullback and a well-known man in the community here. He said this about Coach Brooks. Coach Brooks had the respect of every player on the team. Because of that respect, the players were motivated to excel, and we did with a state championship in 1972-73. That's the one we're celebrating. Coach Walt Brooks fits into that elect group of men whom I call heroes. He's one of mine. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
And Lynn Lewis was our quarterback. He went on to play at SUU, too, quarterback there. Coach Brooks is one of the few men I've known that teaches respect by example. His kind demeanor towards all of his players let each of us know he cared for us equally. This was shown at the tremendous effort he made to get all 60-plus players to the championship game, suited up, and to the best of my knowledge, everyone played.
Yeah.
And that's what's interesting
that is.
About him. He played everybody. And we've got a great class of that 22 seniors. We had a manager there and 4 deceased, but all great ball players that we're going to honor this Friday.
So this Friday night.
This Friday night.
At Walt Brooks Stadium, Dixie versus Cedar.
Yep.
When you guys looked at the schedule to plan this, did you plan that it was going to be against Cedar?
It kind of all came together. We kind of picked the nights that we wanted because we wanted to do some kind of an activity on a Friday night, and then our main Saturday night activities at the Children's Museum where we'll have our dinner and program. But that Friday night worked out great, and Coach, we call him AD, Coach Mike Baird, looked at the schedule and says, hey, it's a Dixie Cedar game. I'm going, that's even better.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So that Friday, we're going to have members of the class that like to go see the new high school, meet about 4 o'clock. We'll do a walkthrough 4 to 5. And from 5 to 6:30, we'll be out at the pavilion. Outside, they've got a new pavilion there where we'll have a tailgate dinner and party, etc. And we'll be given T-shirts and stuff for class members. And then we'll walk around through the southeast admissions there area, and then walk the south part. And then we'll have a specified place for us in the bleachers there. And then these members of our class, these seniors, we're going to be honored, of which I'm a part, and they'll be able to give the game ball to the coach.
I love the fact that Dixie celebrates their past, Dixie High School, with the names that are on their stadiums. You know, you got Coach Walt Brooks, then you got the Don Lay Field as well. I mean, he was baseball coach for I don't know how many years, but I love the fact that they are celebrating the coaches from years past, and so much work goes into the legacy of a coach, and you know, certainly what Coach Walt Brooks, you can tell by this stack of letters from past teammates and players from him, that he had a ton of respect here. And then just the guys that were involved, the men that you were mentioning, you know, Dr. Booth and Mayor MacArthur, all those guys, they have Dixie heritage right here in St. George. All those guys do. So all the guys that you were naming, I was like, oh my gosh, awesome men.
We even had Elder Jeffrey Holland.
Uh-huh.
He was one of his former players too.
Yeah.
He was on the convocation, and he shared some feelings at
Awesome.
that meeting. It was pretty neat.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Anyway, Dixie Cedar tonight at Walt Brooks Stadium.
Well, not tonight.
Not tonight. Sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself here a little bit.
Don't get too far
Yeah,
ahead.
I see
Friday night.
Bro's eyes go like tonight.
Tonight.
Friday night, it's going to be a good time over at Walt Brooks Stadium. And again, the class of 1973 celebrating their 50th class reunion. That's tremendous to me.
That is awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for joining us on the show today.
Thank you very much. I want to put a shout out to Kevin Willard, our chairman of our committee, and all the committee members that have put so much effort into this reunion. It's going to be exciting. We've got individuals coming from all over the nation to come here, and we're just grateful that they come. And we're missing about 39 that are now not a part of our class that have passed on, and we have a special class, and I'm just grateful to be a part of it.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your time.
We're going to head to a break. We got more coming up next, so stick around with us on From the Bleachers.
Hey, it's Caden Formaster.
And Mark Musgrave, the voice you know with the Fan Sports Network.
Check out our local sports radio show, From the Bleachers, live every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Listen to us on the radio on 99.5 or 95.3 FM.
You can also listen through the Fan Sports Network app or watch the show live on the Fan Sports Network YouTube page.
The Fan Sports Network is your home of Utah Tech Trailblazers, high school sports, and the pros.
The Fan Sports Network, Southern Utah's home for local sports.
Did you know that St. George News has a new app? Download the St. George News app today and stay up to date on everything happening in Southern Utah. Get instant notifications on news, weather, sports, and more. Download the app today and get your local news now.
Media is everywhere. It's a part of our daily life, our routine, not just for entertainment, but to stay informed. Local media has the biggest impact on your daily life. It's what's around you, what matters. And at Canyon Media, our goal is to deliver the very best in local entertainment, news, and media. From our award-winning radio stations like 99.9 Coney Country to Southern Utah's #1 source for local news, St. George News, we believe in delivering free, fast, and accurate local news, entertainment, and information to all of Southern Utah through our entertaining on-air personalities and music, compelling local shows, and community events like the City of St. George 4th of July celebration and charitable events like Coney Coins for Kids. From our entire team of dedicated designers, videographers, salespeople, digital marketers, writers, and on-air talent, thank you for letting us be a part of your daily life. Canyon Media, here for you.
Hey, it's Sheldon Demke. Check out the latest episode of What's on the Menu, a behind-the-scenes tour of local restaurants. We'll see some of their favorite dishes and get an inside look on how these dishes are prepared. Check out this week's episode at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Check out this week's edition of TGIF on stgeorgenews.com. TGIF is your weekend adventure guide to all the fun and exciting things going on in Southern Utah this weekend. Find this week's edition at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Have a blast this weekend.
As a local business owner, it's important to get the word out about your business. More people equals more revenue for you. Get your business in front of over 160,000 people in Southern Utah each week with St. George News. Contact St. George News today.
Welcome back in, everybody. It is From the Bleachers here on the Fan Sports Network, broadcasting out of the Findlay Hyundai studio. Caden Formaster here, and Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
Going from guest to guest to guest. We've had a bunch of them today, but it's back to us now here in the studio.
That was good.
It was great.
You know, just Dixie being the obviously the first high school here, and there's just so much history and so much legacy with Dixie High School. And I know that Pineview, Desert Hills, Snow Canyon, Crimson, they're making history now, which is kind of cool as well. I mean, can you imagine, Pineview and Desert Hills, as they get classes that are celebrating their 50th class reunion, so they're actually developing and making history where Dixie already has history. And so that's what I think is cool about the newer schools, is that they are part of history, creating it, all of the traditions and that kind of stuff. That's got to be, kind of cool to be a part of that as well.
Yeah. It's always a fun thing to, continue on traditions, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But to have the opportunity to create your own traditions, I think is so cool because, again, we both went to schools. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
you went to Dixie. I went to Enterprise. Enterprise is an old school, too. I know it's a lot smaller. Right. But, again, I grew up in a school where the traditions were just kind of set.
Yeah.
And so, for a lot of the schools here in St. George, we are in a unique place where we grow really fast here.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of students that are building their own traditions. And luckily, they get to kind of pull traditions from all the different places they came from as well. Crimson, for example, they can take some of those traditions Desert Hills maybe started. Desert Hills probably took some traditions from Dixie when they moved over, and from Pineview. And so it's kind of cool to see how these traditions move along.
Well, and other than Dixie, but since Pineview opened in 84, there's been a high school about every 10 to 12 years.
Yeah, it's on average is about 12.
Because Snow Canyon, I believe, is
93,
92-ish, 93, 94, maybe 93, 94 year.
Yeah.
And then, it took a little bit longer for Desert Hills to roll around in 07, so about 13 years. And then in 19, Crimson opened up. So it's been averaging about 10 to 12, 13 years where we get a new high school. And I don't know if that's still trending that way. I got to think that it probably is.
We're already 5 years into Crimson being around, more, right? Or close to, I should say. Close to 5 years of Crimson being around. So, I mean, you think about it, another 7 years from now.
And they have the new tech high school that opened up, but I don't know if I count that.
No, just because
that's a specialty. It
would be like the...
Kind of like Tuacahn a little bit.
Yeah, which is now not Tuacahn, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean.
But it's a specialty
school. It's not going to count as much. So, but again, we really could be seeing a new high school popping up in the next 7 years.
5 to 6, 7 years, yeah.
That's kind of weird to think about.
As far as history shows, that's what has been happening.
The trend, the way the trend moves, it's going to be about 7 years, and we could be seeing a new high school.
That'll be interesting. That will be interesting.
I'm curious if that will happen. It could.
I don't know why it wouldn't.
Yeah. And if it does, here's the thing. If it does happen, it would actually be announced probably... Usually it's announced 2 years in advance.
I was going to say probably about three or so years it'd probably be announced.
So, yeah. I don't know. I haven't heard anything yet.
I haven't either.
We're still a ways out from that.
I can't imagine it not happening just because, again, that's how it's trended over the past 40 years.
Yeah.
So we'll keep an eye on it.
Just as a reminder, we still have some tickets here that we're going to be giving away for the Shriners Children's Open. So if you want to go watch some live professional golf in Las Vegas, you can text into the text line right now. Text in the word PAR. PAR. Text in PAR to the text line 435-990-9950, and that'll enter you to win these tickets. I got 4 of them here, so you and 3 of your buddies can go watch some professional golf in Las Vegas. Just a little getaway in the nice fall weather coming up in a couple of weeks.
I was just kind of pulling up the field at the Shriners to see who's going to be there, and I'm having a hard time finding that right now. So yeah, I know, really good
great radio, Mark.
I know, really great radio. Here we go. Here's the field. Oh, not that one.
Not that field. The other field.
Where did I go?
He's still looking. Technology, dude.
Well, it happens when, you're about ready to click, and then the whole website moves, and you ended up clicking on something
exactly
else.
what you mean, because like the sponsors will load in and the ads and things.
Yeah, so I have them. Let me see. Zach Blair will be there. Patrick Cantley will be there. Cameron Champ will be there. Stuart Sink, Wyndham Clark. Just rolling down through here. Jason Day. Again, this is a great field. Jason Duffner will be there. Ricky Fowler will be there. So far, I mean, I'm only through the H's right now, and that's a pretty good field right there.
Is Ricky doing the Ryder Cup?
Max Homa. I'd have to look again.
I don't remember if he is or not.
Let's see. Looking at here more. Danny Lee. Yeah, good field. So again, just text us 435-990-9950. Text the word par, Rory Sabatini, and we will put you into a drawing for 4 tickets, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 Shriners Open tickets. You can be the buddy hero, with some free tickets for sure. So
yeah. By the way, Ricky Fowler is a part of the Ryder Cup team this year, as well as Wyndham Clark.
Because he's been playing well.
Did you say Patrick Cantley's going to be playing?
Yeah.
Okay, so those 3 for sure. Max Homa's as well. So you're looking at like half of the Ryder Cup team will be.
Yeah, in Ryder Cup this weekend.
Yeah, Ryder Cup. That's why I asked, because Ryder Cup's coming up first. So see him at the Ryder Cup this weekend on TV, and then go see him in person in Las Vegas here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, so it's a good time down there. Again, I've been down there several times with the family, with the boys, and it's a great TPC Summerlin is a great course to walk. You can get your steps in for the day for sure, or you can just find one of those grassy hills, just kind of camp out, watch the players come through, watch them hit their shots. It's a great tournament to go to, and Summerlin is such a beautiful. It's just a great place to be down in the Las Vegas Valley. I mean, it's probably the best place to be down in the Las Vegas Valley.
I agree.
So
I agree.
Good stuff.
Well, hey, let's get into some of the news of the day. First things first, Mark. I know that this is going to be one of those things that can be controversial. I will say I think it's a good thing in the long run, but it will cause controversy for a few people.
Okay.
For us, not so much.
Okay.
Jazz Plus. If you are a Utah Jazz fan, the Utah Jazz have come out with what's called Jazz Plus. It's basically a way that you can stream live games with exclusive content on demand if you're a Jazz fan. And there are multiple options as far as how you could pay for your Jazz Plus subscription. If you pay now before October 24th, okay, and you pay for the annual subscription, it's $125.50. That comes out to an average of $1.50 a game. Here's the thing. Not only do you get, of course, your live games, but you also get exclusive content on the app that you can watch, on-demand games, preseason games. You could even get a Spanish language broadcast over there.
Do blackouts apply?
Not if you live in Utah.
Okay.
And within 150 miles of Salt Lake. I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
Here's what else it comes with if you purchase by October 24th. You get 2 tickets to a Jazz home game, and they're also going to send you a Jazz t-shirt and a hat. So a little bit extra there.
Where's the downfall here?
I don't know if there really is one for us. I say for us. Here's the thing. Okay, so that's good there. If you wanted to pay a monthly subscription, maybe you're just like, man, if the Jazz are horrible this year, I don't want to watch later in the season. If you're one of those fans,
you check out.
You could be one of those fans. You can get a monthly subscription. Basically, you just don't get the tickets to the home game, and you don't get the t-shirt and the hat. But everything else you get, obviously, the exclusive content, and you get to stream the games. So as long as you are streaming from within the state of Utah and within 150 miles of Salt Lake, you're good. So that means southern Idaho, kind of the Evanston, Wyoming area still gets it. But here's what's unfortunate. We've talked about blackout zones before, right? If you want to watch Jazz basketball and you're not in that area, it's assumed you should just get NBA League Pass.
Okay.
Right? That's kind of the NBA's way of controlling fans that don't live in their market.
Sure.
By League Pass, right?
Sure.
which is actually technically cheaper than buying the Jazz Plus. But you don't get all the extra add-ons, all the exclusive content.
The hat, the shirt, that kind of stuff.
If you wanted to watch just Jazz games.
Yeah.
If you wanted it for all of the teams, you could get it. But if you live in a place like, say, Boise, Idaho, or even in some places in Nevada, not only
a lot of Jazz fans in Las Vegas.
And not only are you not within the Jazz Plus subscription area, but you are also in a blackout zone for NBA League Pass. So you would have absolute zero access to the Utah Jazz.
You know how I feel about that.
And it's not a Jazz problem, okay? It is not
the
Jazz
NBA
problem. It's an NBA problem.
Yeah.
So don't go hating the Jazz for it. They've actually done a really good job. I think the Jazz Plus subscription is super cool. By the way, all the games are also on K-Jazz. So if you get just your normal antenna, if you break out the old antenna from the 90s, slap it on the house, you still get K-Jazz. So there is a great way for people to be able to get the games. And if you're within the range, that might even be cheaper than the Jazz Plus subscription. You can go on to Amazon right now and get one for $20. Now, I don't know if you can get K-Jazz. I don't have one, so I don't know if you can get K-Jazz here. I think you can on a just a cable thing, and you can get an
I'm pretty sure.
You can get an HD antenna that just can sit in your window or something. It doesn't have, nowadays it's not a giant one on top of your house. It's just a tiny little box.
Yeah.
So you can do that nowadays and just watch the games through K-Jazz again, just like the old days.
Now, as a Jazz fan and NBA fan, take out what you do for a living.
Okay.
That you're on Sports Talk Radio.
Gone.
What would you get NBA Pass or would you get this Jazz Plus?
Well, I would get Jazz Plus because League Pass, we're in a blackout zone for the Jazz anyways.
Yeah.
Now, if I was the big enough of a sports fan that I want to watch all the other teams, then I would get League Pass, probably on top of it. It's a lot of money up front, but it's good coverage, so it would be worth it if you're a big-time basketball fan.
Right.
For me, I'll be honest, I don't follow all of the other teams in the NBA as closely as I follow the Jazz. There's times where it's nice to have League Pass, and I've had it multiple times, where it's nice to just be like, I just want to see a Hawks-Bucks game.
Yeah.
Because why not?
Well, now, and we'll talk about
now,
this
we'll talk about that
in
later.
a second.
But for me as a Jazz fan, I mostly want to watch Jazz games. So
are other teams going to do something similar? Have you heard?
So the Clippers are already doing something similar. The Suns are doing something similar. A lot of teams, especially because regional sports TV is dying.
It is.
It is dying really quickly. And so AT&T Sportsnet, who they were a part of, is gone. It's and they housed the Vegas Golden Knights, which, by the way, they're doing something very similar. They house the Colorado Rockies. They house the Utah Jazz, and a host of some other different things, right? But as far as professional sports go, that's what they had. They're no longer after the Colorado Rockies season was kind of the last thing they were gonna bring out, and that's coming to an end in a week.
This week, this week.
It's done. So regional sports is just dead.
I like what they're doing. I mean, with the technology that we have. You and I have always talked, why can't we do an a la carte sports package where you can buy a Jazz, the Jazz package, like the Jazz Plus you're talking about, and the Jazz get that money. With the technology we have, I don't know. Well, I know why we couldn't because of contracts, agreements, and money exchanging hands.
Yeah.
But I like the way that we're trending. I like the way that we're going with this because you and I have talked about this ever since we've been on air.
Well, and it's bringing everything in-house, right?
Yeah.
So let's put it in a little bit more local perspective just to get some more understanding. When we go out and we broadcast basketball games, football games like right now, all that stuff is done with us in-house, right? We do everything ourselves.
Right.
In the past, when it comes to national broadcasts, they team up with somebody to bring you that broadcast. The Jazz provide the sport, and the TV company provides everything else, and the Jazz might also provide your commentators, okay? But as far as the people that are actually putting on the game themselves, it goes through a regional sports network. And now they're just bringing it all in-house. and they're just saying we're going to run it all ourselves.
Yeah.
They were already kind of running it themselves anyways, because most of those people are hired through the Jazz, but they become they send the product off to be distributed through AT&T Sportsnet. So all they're doing is just getting rid of the distributor and just doing it themselves.
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant. It saves them costs in the long run. As a fan, as you mentioned, you kind of go a la carte here and get whatever you want. And I know there's a lot of people that are out there saying, man, I just don't want to pay for another subscription. Well, if you already have DirecTV or Dish or something like that, you probably already have KJazz anyways. Just watch the games there. You don't even need the subscription.
Right.
You don't need the Jazz Plus subscription if you have KJazz. So it's not a necessity to go out there and get this subscription if you feel like you don't need it. It's mostly for those people like me or, like especially my generation where we don't pay for TV. A lot of us don't. It's for those kind of people like us who we might just have Netflix and Amazon Prime Video.
Yeah.
Throw on Jazz Plus.
Right.
So I think it's a good idea if you're in that same boat. Just so you know, there is a link right now in our Instagram story where you can get more details on it. So if you'll go to the Fan Sports Network Instagram, there's some information in our story on what the subscription offers and how you can sign up and all that stuff.
Yeah, so, love it. I like how we're going with this
technology, man. It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, and we said we'd talk Bucks a little bit, but real quick, I mean that Dame trade went down, and I know everyone's kind of talked about it already today, so I don't want to beat a dead horse too much, but we're already seeing the effects of big trades happening. So it's coming down. This one was obviously the biggest one that was supposed to fall during this offseason.
Yep.
And it happens just 2 weeks ahead of preseason.
Yeah, the Bucks, they received Dame Lillard. That's what they wanted. That's what they got. The Blazers, they receive Drew Holiday, DeAndre Ayton, Tumani Kamara. The Bucks 2029 first-round pick, unprotected, which I think is pretty good for the Blazers, and then swap rights on the Bucks 2028 and 2030 picks. And the Suns, this is a 3-team trade. The Suns receive Jusuf Nurkic. Did I say that right?
Yeah, close enough.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Grayson Allen, Nasir Little, and Keon Johnson.
Yeah. And what's funny is Grayson Allen on his Twitter just announced at the beginning of September that he was changing his number, and he's changed his number 3 times on the Bucks already.
Oh, really?
It's been 7, 12, and he was just going to change it to number 3, and he said that just back on September 4th.
Yeah.
And so he tweeted out today, he quote tweeted his tweet saying he's changing. He just tweeted LOL. Just because it's like, and here we go again, another jersey change. I thought that was kind of funny.
Oh my gosh, that is pretty funny. Well, at least he has a good attitude about it, though.
Yeah. Well, and you look at this.
I mean, he's going to Phoenix. He's going to a good team.
Yeah. Now, I know we focus a lot on Damian Lillard, but let's look at DeAndre Ayton. He's another guy that's right there around that All-Star line. Drew Holiday as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I know the Blazers are getting rid of Lillard, but at least they didn't give him up for nothing. Bringing in Drew Holiday, one of my favorite players.
Yeah.
By the way, I love Drew Holiday. I think he's an athlete. He's a hard worker. He's going to bring a lot to that team. DeAndre Ayton's, in my opinion, he's better than Nurkic. So swapping that out's actually a win as far as, you lose Nurkic, but you get Ayton. That's actually a win. For the Suns, though, in my opinion, the Suns are the ones that lost this trade. Yeah, they got rid of Ayton. Ayton was going to be trying to get out of there anyway. But you bring in Nurkic, Little, Keon Johnson, Grayson Allen. Allen's always just your role player kind of guy. He's got a good shot to him. Nurkic is going to be just fine down low. He'll do what you need him to do. Again, I lean Ayton a little bit, but Nurkic is still a fine starting center for you. So, it's an interesting trade, to say the least.
Yeah, and
gets me a little hyped for basketball, if you can't tell.
And it's the Bucks got what they wanted to, which was another legit superstar, not all-star, but legit superstar to play along Giannis, and because that's kind of how the new NBA is. You've got to have 2, not just 2 anymore. Almost now it's moving towards 3.
When you have Chris Middleton to throw in the middle of that as well,
yes.
So you have your 3 right there.
Yes.
And before it was kind of Holiday, Middleton, and Giannis. And hey, you know what? They won a championship. They did win a championship a couple years ago. So it's not like the Bucks are necessarily that far down. Dame Lillard gets what he wants, though. He's on a team that's going to be competing for a championship this year. And that's all he was asking for.
Absolutely.
There was obviously a lot of talk with him going to Miami, which, by the way, Miami out there, there was a video that came out on Jimmy Butler's Instagram story saying, "Hey, NBA, you should look into tampering with the Bucks."
Uh-oh.
Yeah. He's calling out the Bucks because there's supposed to be a trade to Miami.
Oh, my God.
So now everyone in Miami's like, tampering. It's like, listen, there's always tampering.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Everyone's tampering all the time.
Yes.
How often do guys come up to each other after a game and be like, "Hey, that's a good game. Come play with me next season"?
Oh, dude, they
All
vacation
the
together.
time.
They vacation together.
There's always tampering. Everyone does it. The league doesn't care.
No.
They don't. I know there's rules against it. They don't care.
Yeah.
There's always tampering.
And by the way, Miami, how'd you get LeBron James?
Yeah, well, you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Chris Bosh.
Well, that was a while ago, though.
I know. I'm talking a long time ago, but they did it. They did it.
Sure. Jimmy Butler wasn't there, but I get it. I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
So, point is, this upcoming season, it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. I'm happy for Dame because he's on a team that could maybe actually push for a championship now. That's good for him.
I am too.
Good for him. And I kind of hope so. I like the Bucks, man. I've always liked the Bucks.
Me too.
I don't know why. Giannis seems to be one of the most down to earth
good
dudes.
Yep.
I was really happy for Denver that they won it.
Yeah.
Just because, kind of the same reason, they just seem like down to earth dudes.
Yeah.
You know. So I'm happy for him. Kind of sucks for Portland.
Yeah, it
I'm
does.
not gonna lie. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun season. Obviously, as we mentioned, preseason's coming up here in days.
Yes.
We're days away.
Yeah. Crazy.
Single digits away.
Yeah.
I think 8 days, 7 or 8 days.
Yeah.
Whew. Crazy. All right, we got to head to a break, and we're going to be wrapping up the show when we come back. Stick around with us here on From the Bleachers.
Hey, it's Caden Formaster.
And Mark Musgrave, the voice you know with the Fan Sports Network.
Check out our local sports radio show, From the Bleachers, live every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Listen to us on the radio on 99.5 or 95.3 FM.
You can also listen through the Fan Sports Network app or watch the show live on the Fan Sports Network YouTube page.
The Fan Sports Network is your home of Utah Tech Trailblazers, high school sports, and the pros.
The Fan Sports Network, Southern Utah's home for local sports.
Did you know that St. George News has a new app? Download the St. George News app today and stay up to date on everything happening in Southern Utah. Get instant notifications on news, weather, sports, and more. Download the app today and get your local news now.
Media is everywhere. It's a part of our daily life, our routine. Not just for entertainment, but to stay informed. Local media has the biggest impact on your daily life. It's what's around you, what matters. And at Canyon Media, our goal is to deliver the very best in local entertainment, news, and media. From our award-winning radio stations like 99.9 Coney Country to Southern Utah's #1 source for local news, St. George News, we believe in delivering free, fast, and accurate local news, entertainment, and information to all of Southern Utah through our entertaining on-air personalities and music, compelling local shows, and community events like the City of St. George 4th of July celebration and charitable events like Coney Coins for Kids. From our entire team of dedicated designers, videographers, salespeople, digital marketers, writers, and on-air talent, thank you for letting us be a part of your daily life. Canyon Media, here for you.
Hey, it's Sheldon Demke. Check out the latest episode of What's on the Menu, a behind-the-scenes tour of local restaurants. We'll see some of their favorite dishes and get an inside look on how these dishes are prepared. Check out this week's episode at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Check out this week's edition of TGIF on stgeorgenews.com. TGIF is your weekend adventure guide to all the fun and exciting things going on in Southern Utah this weekend. Find this week's edition at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Have a blast this weekend.
As a local business owner, it's important to get the word out about your business. More people equals more revenue for you. Get your business in front of over 160,000 people in Southern Utah each week with St. George News. Contact St. George News today.
back in, everybody. It is from the Bleachers here on the Fan Sports Network. Caden Formaster here and Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
So we are wrapping up the show real quick with our fan, not a fan. Mark, are you ready to rock and roll with this one here?
Let's give it a go.
All right, let's give it a go. Indeed. Get the music going for you. Fan, not a fan. These are all football-related things. Some of these rules, some of these just different kinds of plays.
Okay.
This has been controversial for the last couple of years.
Okay, give it to me.
The Eagles tush-push. You know what I'm talking about? We're on 4th down. They line everybody up. The offensive line gives a good solid push. It's basically just a glorified quarterback sneak.
Yeah.
Are you a fan, not a fan?
I'm a fan of it.
A lot of people are saying they shouldn't be allowed to do it anymore. In my opinion, all the other teams can
Well,
do it.
Why
not?
Now, who actually has the ball?
The Eagles.
No, but who has the ball?
The quarterback. That's what I'm saying. It's a quarterback sneak, essentially.
Why is this even controversial?
Oh, because it's extremely successful. Their success rate with it is like 90-something%.
Yeah, I'm a fan of it.
And everyone's saying
just because it's
they shouldn't do it
successful, you
anymore.
want to ban it? Come on.
I think,
stop it. That's what you want to do.
If other teams, because that's the thing, everyone's like, well, we don't know how to stop it. Okay, well, why don't you start doing it on offense?
Yeah, absolutely.
If it's unstoppable, do it. Prove to us that it's unstoppable and do it.
Yeah. No, I'm a fan of that.
Yeah, me too. I'm a big fan. Speaking of the Eagles tush push, just in general, going for it on 4th down, you a fan or not a fan?
You know, here's the deal. The NFL rules give you 4 downs to get 10 yards.
It's true.
So why not do it? I've always wondered. I kind of like what head coaches are doing now when they're going for it. Now, I think it still needs to be situational, like where you are on the field. I don't think I would go for it on my own 20.
Sure.
But
especially if it's like a 4 and 3.
Yeah, if I've crossed midfield, why not? Why not? Because even if you punt it, you're only going to net 20 yards. Why not go for it? And then, because again, the NFL rule book gives you 4 downs to get 10 yards. A lot of times, coaches only take 3 of those plays, and then they're punting it away. Go for it.
Agreed. The next few, the rest one that I have here, I got 3 things that are different between different levels of football. Okay, so for example, a touchback in high school, 20-yard line. That's where they place it, at the 20-yard line. In the NFL, it's at the 25-yard line.
It used to be the 20.
Which one are you a fan of? The 20 or the 25?
I still like the old rule. I like it at the 20.
Okay, which is high school.
Which is high school, and that was original.
It's a bigger field to go, right?
That was original NFL rule as well. That changed probably.
It's got fairly recent, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say within 15 years.
Yeah, that
it changed to the 25-yard line. I always liked the 80. You got to go 80 yards.
Okay.
So I'm a fan of the 20-yard line.
In the NFL, if a player catches a ball, we'll say he catches a ball and he ends up on the ground, but he hasn't been touched, he can still get up and run.
Right.
In high school, college, that is not the case. If you're down, you're down. It doesn't matter if someone's touched you or not. Which one are you more a fan of? Being able to still get up and run if no one's touched you, or if you're down, you're down?
Yes, I like the NFL rule. I like you have to be touched to be down.
Okay, so we switched. We have one that the high school's doing right, and now one the NFL's doing right.
Yeah, and I like that as opposed to, like, if you slide and catch the ball, like you said in high school or college, you're down. Yeah. I like the fact that there's not a defender within 5 to 10 yards from me. Why?
You're punishing the offense.
Yeah, you're
for
punishing.
No reason.
Yes, exactly. I like the fact that they can get up and get a few more yards.
They might even score.
Yeah, absolutely. So I like the NFL rule on that.
Okay. I actually agree with you on that one. I do too. I will say, when I was a lot younger and I didn't understand all those rules, I always just knew when you were down, you're down. And I was watching this NFL game, I'm like, he was kneeling down when he caught it. Why did he run?
Yeah.
Stupid guy.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Right.
And I'm like, oh, wait, no, that's actually the right rule.
Now, obviously, the only time that doesn't apply is if a quarterback gives himself up and slides feet first.
Yeah, and that's different. That's different because it's for safety.
Yes.
Okay, last one. We got just under a minute. The pass interference call. Should it be at the spot of the foul, or is it a 15-yard penalty?
I think it should be at the spot of the foul.
Because it could be way more drastic.
Exactly.
If you're bombing it down 50 yards.
Yes. Because,
it's
again,
a big penalty.
High school, college, go with the 15-yard penalty.
Yep.
So if you are, like you said, going for a long pass and say it's a Hail Mary in the end zone. Now, they don't call pass interference a lot on that, even though probably about every single Hail Mary there is.
There's plenty of it.
But as a defender in high school or college, I would totally pass interference because they're only going to get 15 yards. Now in the NFL, they're going to penalize you. You're going to put it at the 1 or the 2 yard line, whatever they put it at. So I'm a fan of the NFL rule on that.
All right. Well, that's it for us. Have a good one, everybody. We'll be back with you tomorrow.